Soul Garden.
Namaste. Welcome to the Soul Guided Hangouts. I'm Guardian Agent number 33, your humble agent and moderator. I'm super excited to introduce our spirit guide. She is a psychic, intuitive, spiritual chick, advice guru, optimist, visionary, and a master Taurus. She answers your questions through intuition, guides, and angels. She is our love generator and has created a safe place for us. Please join me in welcoming Zen Shoemaker.
Hey. Thank you. Oh, it's so nice to see you guys.
Wonderful
So,
to see you.
thank you. So let's get started. Let's just do a little meditation. It's been a busy week. Let's all just sit with our back straight, our feet on the floor. We're just going to take a couple minutes. No worries, no rushes. We have all the time in the world. So take a deep breath in. Close your eyes. Breathe out. And we just let go, let go, let go. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Which thing should I let go? Take a deep breath in and out. The work week is done. We're getting ready for the weekend. Count of 3, just open your eyes quietly, gently. 3, 2, 1. Hi.
Hello.
It's so nice to wrap up the week together, isn't it? We get this nice little time. We get to have a few laughs and maybe learn something. And the one thing I wanted to start with is I ended the show last week with a little riddle. What does a giraffe and glitter and mud? Remember that?
I do.
Okay, are you ready for the answer?
We're ready.
Okay, 1, 2, 3.
Oh,
Can you see?
Oh, cute.
Okay, so next, we're not done yet.
oh my gosh.
First place!
Yay!
Okay, wait. Are you ready for a close-up?
We're ready.
Oh, how sweet.
Oh.
Check it out.
Can you see him?
Love it.
Oh, that is great. Look at that tongue. Oh, I love it.
I know. This is a photo by my friend Kim Ross. She did a wonderful job. And so this is going to jump us right into vulnerability. Excuse me, I hit my mic. So I put out on Soul Garden and also on Facebook, what was the first thing you think of when you think of vulnerability? So I'm going to talk about 2 different ways for me personally, vulnerability. Somebody posted about the county fair. And if anybody had anything to put in, like a cake, canning goods, you know, any skill set, bring it in. And I thought, I'm going to enter my little giraffe.
Oh.
And I could not believe I decided to do it. This is not my way to, put myself out there. But I've been exploring all the facets of vulnerability. So I thought, okay, do it. So I entered it, and there's pottery, and they had a pottery class and a ceramics class. And, they're like the same in essence. So I asked them, what's the difference? And the lady said, I don't know what the difference is. You need to ask somebody who does it. I go, oh, no, I do it. I go, I do it. I'm wondering what you think the difference is. I don't know where to enter this. She goes, oh, just leave it in the category you have it in, which was pottery. So I go, okay, great. So I did. And I won the blue ribbon. Yay! And then I found...
That was awesome.
And then I found out I was the only one entered into that category.
Oh, that's great.
Yes! Oh my gosh. So I figure God Universe decided to give me a little boost in my lesson of vulnerability. So like I didn't get annihilated in it. So that was a sweet entry into vulnerability. So I'd like to talk now about a different one. And it's about me, and it's about last week's show. Right before the show, I lost my ground, and I was shook. And it's an old story for me, and to be embarrassed, and I could spiral from embarrassment into shame. Listen, my voice is starting to shake talking about it. I don't know if you can pick that up. And I was live. And I'm going, oh my God, I have to keep going. I have to try to get it together. I don't want to show my discomfort. I don't, but what happened for me during the show was I wasn't as articulate as I wanted to be. I had some points that I missed because I was shook, and I had like two things going on. So this side was saying, breathe, ground, help, open up, because once I get taken over, so to speak, with spirit, it's all okay. This other part of me is going, yes, but you wanted to make these points. So after the show, I was like wringing wet. I felt just all shook up, and I called GA33 on Saturday. And I said, oh my God, I was so blah, 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 blah. And she goes, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? It was fine. I'm like, what do you mean it was fine? I totally lost my ground. And she goes, no, Zen, it was fine. And this huge lesson happened for me during that show, especially during. And then I got the sweet love of GA33 afterwards, which helped soothe, my kind of irritated psyche. That I didn't run. I didn't hide. I stayed in it. I breathed, used breath a lot. I don't know if you guys remember from the first show, the grounding and sitting down in the dinosaur tail. I was doing that a lot last week. And it helped me. And I thought, oh, after all these years of working on this, I still had this lesson. It was all about me. Gosh, it was all about me. And I lived to tell it. And it was the same day I won the blue ribbon. So, I mean, what the heck?
Oh, Zen, you are so beautiful and amazing. I love you so much. We're going to be right back with more of Zen and talking about vulnerability right after these messages from our sponsors.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking. Please put on your prayer chute and prepare for jump.
It's Mercury Retrograde. That means it's time for our Soulmart.me Mercury Retrograde sale. Like a 1-hour reading with Christopher Witecki, normally $159, retrogrades back to $95.10. Or try a 15-minute psychic look reading with Zen Shoemaker. She retrogrades down to $45 for a 15-minute reading. Or try the Act 3 Orbits Report. And the Jupiter Gets Emotional retrogrades the same to 1111. At Soulmart.me, mind, body, and soul improvement.
Welcome back to Dear Zen. Come and be part of our studio audience by going to lovefest.tv and click on the dynamic link posted in our chat room. Back to you, Zen, as we're still talking about this wonderful vulnerability and how beautiful you are.
Well, thank you for the beautiful, but I kind of don't like how you went like
Oh! Well, it was kind of fun. I was just giving you some more.
Okay, so I did put out on the internet questions about vulnerability, and let me read you a few of the answers. It was amazingly interesting. Hi, this word totally resonates because after the death of my mother, I was vulnerable, and for me that means weakness, unable to perform at a game level. Regarding the law of attraction, I was attracting vultures, users, cons, and liars. When I was vulnerable, it sucked. However, I'm a nurturer, and although I could barely care for myself, when I see others who I sense are vulnerable, I want to have their back. Being vulnerable taught me much, and I'm still processing the lessons. Vulnerable equals icky. Laugh out loud. So we'll get back to the second response from that person. And hold on one second. And then vulnerability, well, I believe it's opening yourself up to someone knowing that hurt will soon follow. Isn't that interesting? So I like to think of our life as a mansion. The potential of our life, let me correct that. The potential of our life is a mansion. And when we are born, we walk into the foyer. And from there on, that's where God universe drops us off, at the foyer. From there on, we get to build the rooms and we get to explore. And I believe there's a great big ballroom. And from the foyer, you can hear laughter and tinkling glasses and passionate moans and giggles and music and dancing. And you can hear all of the glorious, beautiful, heartfelt emotions. You hear tears of laughter, you hear all of that. And the doorway to that room of intimacy with relationships, the doorway is vulnerability. So you have to step through vulnerability to get to intimacy. Now, the foyer can be fun too. You know, foyer can be glorious, and you can dress it up, and you can have a party out in the foyer too. And you can have laughter, and you can have sex out in the foyer if you want. Woohoo! And, you know, you can have a good old time out in the foyer, but it's nothing like the time you can have in the ballroom if you go through the doorway of vulnerability. So if we look through those lenses, if you look through the lenses of vulnerability is just a threshold to go through to be able to get to all the good, juicy, yummy life stuff, then it doesn't seem quite so fearful. And it can be quick if you feel it, if you just go through it, if you take the step. A lot of people get hung up in the doorway. They're hanging there and they're in it, and they're, you know, people are shoving past them and they get knocked up against the door jab, you know, and they're just getting roughed up in vulnerability. And it's like, I want to go, take a step, go to the party. And so that's one way, and that's the way I believe vulnerability can help us and frame the opening of our heart. Because what happens when we go through that door, our heart goes, phew, and we're heart-centered. We become heart-centered. We're there, and everybody who's already in that room, who already walked through the vulnerability, is standing there heart-centered also. So it's safe there. because everybody knows what it took to walk through the door. If you're standing in the doorway all half open and somebody from the foyer comes and baps you upside the head, it's going to hurt. So, vulnerability. Take the step into the ballroom.
Oh, that's so beautiful. I have so much gratitude for you, Zen. If you would like to send Zen your question, then you can email her at dearzen@soulgarden.tv. And if you're part of our live studio audience and you have a question, you can just raise your peace symbol and Zen can answer your question. So back to you, Zen.
Okay, so how about a question? I've got a few. So let me read one. I am currently lost in love for a woman who has shown me she loves me. Things are complicated, but as a Scorpio, I have opened up to her more than anyone. I also have lied to her in the past, but in this situation, I'm not. And I feel so vulnerable to her because she knows everything about me, and yet I'm still being accused of things that simply are not true. I really enjoyed your shows and wisdom, and I'm hoping just maybe you could give me a little insight. I would try and move heaven and earth for her. I just want to fix things. How do I fix things with a person who believes there are things going on that are simply not true? Yours truly, hopelessly lost. So hopelessly lost. Well, what I first hear is that you lied to her and now she's accusing you of things you're not doing. Well, that to me means trust has been lost and it can be regained. But you do have to own that you created the lies. So it takes a while to get past that and to learn to trust again. So my advice is become transparent. Become transparent. If she wants to look at your cell phone, let her look at your cell phone. If she wants to check your email, let her check your email. If you're invested in this relationship, of course. I mean, if this is a significant relationship. If she wants to know where you are, tell her. Be transparent. And within an X amount of time, and you get to determine whatever that time period is, I would say at least a few months. Every time you're where you say you're going to be, every time you come home when you say you're going to come home, then that starts building the layers of trust again. And I doubt it will continue she'll continue to accuse you of things you're not doing. If after a point it doesn't stop, then you need to reevaluate the relationship, and maybe you need to ask me another question. At that point. Do we have time for another?
We absolutely do. That was beautiful. I love it.
Thanks.
Very heartwarming.
Thanks. Dear Zen, hello, my name is Sylvia, and I just launched my dream on Indigo projects, eco-friendly school. I have no doubt my preschool is going to manifest, and I have 30 days left to raise the money. So my question is, what more could I do to align myself to manifest my goal on Indiegogo? Thanks so much and have a beautiful day. So you've set this manifestation in motion. First of all, one of the things I suggest you do is take some of Christopher Witecki's classes on manifestation. He's amazing and helps really create tools for manifestation. But one of the things that you can do until then is you've set up this a way for it to happen, yes? So you have to know it's happening, feel it, live it, experience it in every cell of your being. Picture yourself on the first day of school. Picture the letterhead. What are you going to wear the first day of school? How's it going to smell in the room? Everything. Feel it, live it, know it, and then continue on the path that you're on now. You're doing great work. You're manifesting. and but step into the emotions of achievement, emotions of your gaining your goal is the secret key to manifestation. Go to the emotion of it. Know it, feel it, love it, dance, glory in it, smell the chalk if you use chalk or markers or iPads, but whatever it is, feel it. Thank you for writing.
Thank you, Zen. We'll be right back with more of Dear Zen right after these messages from our sponsors.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking. Please put on your prayer chute and prepare for jump.
It's Mercury retrograde. That means it's time for our Soulmart.me Mercury retrograde sale. Like a 1-hour reading with Christopher Witecki, normally $159, retrogrades back to $95.10. Or try a 15-minute psychic look reading with Zen Shoemaker. She retrogrades down to $45 for a 15-minute reading. Or try the Act 3 Orbits Report. And the Jupiter Gets Emotional retrogrades the same to 1111. At Soulmart.me, mind, body, and soul improvement.
Welcome back to Dear Zen with Zen Shoemaker. Come on down to soulgarden.tv and get a free profile on the most loving space on the internet. Zen, what's up for us next?
I've got like 50 things it could be. So the one thing I want to talk about, I'm just going to go back to me for a minute. Surprise! But when I was in my, I don't want to say crisis, but that's what just came to my lips, crisis of vulnerability last week, and I was just in the wave of it. You know how things can wash over you, and I was grounding, and then the weekend came, and I had such a lovely conversation with GA33, and I had really let it go. The Act 3 videos came out with Christopher Witecki and on Soul Garden. And this is going to sound like a plug because it is, but it's coming from a definite real place with me. So I got my sun and rising, which is Taurus and Aquarius. And there on the Act 3, he talks about, I forget which one it was actually, if it was Taurus or Aquarius, how I'm going to be in a place where old fears of vulnerability are going to show themselves publicly. And I'm going to have to figure out how I deal with it. I was going, oh my God! I wish they would have come out Friday morning because I would have known. But it was like wild. So here's the plug. Get the Act 3 videos. Holy mackerel. It's only $11. Get your sun, get your rising. It's fantastic. So I just had to say it because it was a little spooky. Okay. It was a little spooky and fantastic. So let me read something else. Dear Zen, when I think of vulnerability, I think of my soft spots, all that ooey gooey part of me. It is delicious, but I only let a few see that part of me. It makes me think of the Tootsie Pop commercial. How many licks does it take to get to the Tootsie Roll center of a Tootsie Pop? It takes love and trust to get to the Tootsie Pop center of me. Isn't that wonderful? I love that analogy.
Yummy.
Yummy! So I could just picture her in the doorway. Look at her lollipop. Look at the lollipop. Go in, bite it, get to the center. You don't have to lick it 100 times. Bite it. So here's another thing about vulnerability. When you're vulnerable, get excited because the next step is glory. When you're vulnerable, that means you're sensing something good's about to happen when you step into it. Because unless we're 12, and none of us are 12, this show is for over 18, we've had enough experience in vulnerability that it isn't always bad. Now, vulnerability can be lumped in with shame. That's a whole different ballgame. Okay? Vulnerability is, okay, I think I can go do this. I think I can write tonight. I'm being very vulnerable with you guys. My God, I've showed all my crap from last week. And so, hey, but what's happening for me is I am feeling y'all so deeply right now. And I hope you're feeling me that way too. And that's me stepping in the door into the beautiful ballroom and going, here I am. This is Zen. I hope I can be your friend.
Well, if you could see my eyes, I have two.
Yeah, what?
Yeah, yeah. That's beautiful.
It's just so beautiful, and I can feel you head to toe. I have like goosebumps up and down my body. It's so loving, and I love being here with you. You are an amazing woman, Zen. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, guys. Thank you. Woo-hoo! It's Friday night. Love and things. I am the love generator.
Right.
Okay. So, and let's hear another. So, dear Zen, the first thing, and speaking of vulnerability, I hear is undeserving. I don't think I explained myself more clearly. When other people are vulnerable, my whole heart is there wanting to help, because that is what brings me happiness, being able to help others. At the same time, it's harder for me to be at the other end of the stick. When other people try to help me, I feel like I owe them back. The ironic thing is, I don't expect anything back when I help others. But why do I feel like I owe people something when they try to help me? Oh, this is so brilliant of a statement. And this is, thank you, Sylvia. Sylvia touched on something huge. I just heard this and read this from a master teacher who I respect greatly. I hate it, but I believe it. So I'm just going to go ahead and tell you what she said to me, or I read, I'm sorry, it wasn't said to me, that when we gift to others, we do so, with a loving heart, I'm sure. When we can't receive, that means somehow we're entering into judgment. So if we cannot receive with ease, then that means actually we're not giving with ease because there's some judgment there. And that I really fought against it because I thought, I do not judge people I give to. I know I don't. But somewhere there must be something, because if there was no judgment, then we could receive. Yeah? It does make sense. I don't expect people to give back to me. But then the truth be told, if you're in a hard time and you've given away $50,000 over the past 2 years and suddenly you're in a jam, you think kind of, geez, maybe I wish somebody would give me some of that back. And I caught myself doing that, and I went, holy cow, there was some attachment. I didn't know there was any attachment. I didn't mean for there to be any attachment. So it's something that we really do have to look at. We really do have to look at. When you can give, period, then that's when you can receive. And that is actually one of my life lessons, to learn to receive. So I know of what I speak here. I mean, this is a tough one for me. And I'm grateful for the question, Sylvia. That was fantastic.
Oh, gosh. Yes, that was wonderful. Thank you, Zen. Zen, can you tell us what a reading is like with you and how we can contact you?
Okay, so yes, I can. Thank you for asking, GA33. So a reading right now, I'm developing a new levels of readings, but the reading right now is an hour reading. I'm developing a half-hour reading. The hour reading is you can just talk to me, and if you have a question, you can ask a question, and then I will go into my sacred space, and I will ask for guidance, and I will answer, generally using my guides, your guides, the universe, angels, anyone who shows up to help. It's a pretty wonderful thing, and I also throw in some coaching in there because sometimes you need help in actually discerning what the question is. You think the question's this, but actually it's here. And within that time period, we can shift your state, we can elevate it, we can get you moving towards your goals. If that's what you want, or if you just want to know. I'm also developing meditation. It's going to be called Love Letters, and it's going to be like a 10-minute meditation, which will take us all to beginning on the path of self-love. And hopefully within that 10 minutes, you will be able to feel bathed in love, and that will help prime your pump into self-love. You can contact me through the email dearzen@soulgarden.tv, and I'll give you the details.
Yes. Oh, I'm so excited. She will be on soulmart.me soon. So, but
Right.
Dear Zen at soulgarden.tv is the way to reach out to Zen. She's wonderful and amazing here. Do we have another letter?
We do.
Yes.
So, hey Zen, you really got me going on vulnerability. Melody said it was power, and I do believe that ultimately it leads to our truth, power. However, like the rings of hell, oh, there's the rings of vulnerability, the challenges, money, family, etc. To arrive at the essence of our vulnerability, our truth. It can be so intense. That's why people stay in crappy relationships, crappy marriages, right? Stay stuck in the rings or the layers of vulnerability, and your soul gets sucked dry. Vulnerability is power if you make it out. Laugh out loud. Like Scarlett says, as God is my witness, I'll never be hungry again. Does the person whose letter this is want to raise her hand?
What do you think? Are there rings of vulnerability? It seems like.
Yeah, because I think it's whatever. I said this. Oh, I have to give a shout out to the Scorpios of Soul Garden. Holy mackerel, you guys rock. You are working it. I got like, I don't know, 5 or 6 or 7 Scorpios responding to this. I was really impressed. So I said something on the Scorpio page that vulnerability's definition is one of those words that we actually bring our history and even, I believe, our ancestral history to the definition of the word. So some people, let's go back to my mansion and the doorway, some people are going to put on armor, a coat of arms, and they're going to walk to that doorway because, God blasted, we're going to be ready to walk through that door of vulnerability. And other people might strip naked and skip through the door, right? And I think your past and even your ancestral past dictates that. So there can be different levels and different rings, but it doesn't have to be. You can shift that. And that's some work you can do out in the vestibule, in the foyer, and take care of it. I'm going to develop a magic room where you can go in and zap some of this stuff off. Ew. This is an idea for a future thing.
I love it.
So how we doing on time? Can I do a couple more?
We have time for another one.
Okay, great. Wow, big word for me, vulnerability. When I read the word, a sensation of fear ran through me, and I drew my stress-filled shoulders up to my ears, hearing that little girl inside saying, make yourself smaller so they don't notice you. Weakness and fear are the two things that come to mind. Yeah, that is, and poor men generally get this, the weakness, and it's, you know, the fear that it, you know, can't be a man and be vulnerable. And that is diametrically wrong. I think just the opposite. I think it takes the largest strength and the biggest inner warrior to be able to be vulnerable and continue through it. So yeah, that's tough. And we just, with practice, it doesn't hurt as much. You know?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's the truth. It's the truth. The more, you know, people shield themselves from it, and actually that makes it worse. It makes it harder to walk through the door with all that big armor, you know? Yeah.
That is so true.
Yeah, it's really amazing, the truth of it all. So today there's a wonderful author. Her name is Tasha Silver, and she posted something on Facebook today, and I'd like to read it. It's for all and anyone who needs this. If you grew up like me, more comfortable giving than receiving, isn't this lovely? Here is a prayer that is medicine for all of that. Please change me, the divine beloved, into someone who can freely, wildly open to receiving. Let me know my own value, beauty, and worthiness without question. Let me allow others the supreme pleasure of giving to me. Let me feel worthy to receive in every possible way. Change me into one who can fully love, forgive, and accept myself, so I may carry your light without restriction. Let everything that needs to go, go. Let everything that needs to come, come. I am utterly your own. You are me. I am you. We are one. All is well. Isn't that fantastically delicious?
It's beautiful.
Lovely.
Thank you, Zen. Today's show has been brought to you by soulmart.me. Come and check out the Act 3 videos, which are available for immediate download or in MP3 format. Yes. You can join Zen Shoemaker live on Fridays at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And if you would like to ask her a question, you can send your letters to Dear Zen at soulgarden.tv. And you can also book a reading with her by emailing her at dearzen@soulgarden.tv. Thank you all so much. And Zen, can you sign us off with all of your love, my dear?
Yes, thank you, GA33. I do love you all so very much. Honest, across my heart. And take a deep breath and count to Zen. See you next week. Bye.
So